welcome to the Third Degree Masonic Podcast, where we are always on the level. Today, craftsmen, we have something really special for you. We are sitting down with a bunch of guys from Nebraska who are helping to spread the light of Masonry just as much as we are. We had a blast, got a little rowdy with them, and we think you'll have fun with this one too. Please welcome Studio 357. And today, we have our good friends at Studio 357 joining us. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Of course. So, obviously, you guys have one more person than we do. So, I'm going to have you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us how long you've been a Mason for.
I'm Heath. I've been a Mason for 3.5 years. I was raised 3.5 years ago.
I'm worshipful brother Joe Evans. I've been a Mason almost 10 years.
I'm Brother Jim. I was initiated a year ago this week, and I've only been a Master Mason since August.
Oh, okay.
And I'm worshipful brother Dave, and I'm a raised Master Mason for 27 years and 1 day.
Nice.
Really? Well, happy Masonic birthday,
I got
brother.
my Masonic birthday card yesterday, yes.
You get a free drink at the shrine.
So, where are you guys out of? What jurisdiction?
We are in. We're under the Grand Lodge of Nebraska.
Of Omaha.
So there's
Nebraska.
not a huge population in Nebraska, so I think they're pretty much just one jurisdiction, right? Yeah.
Just
Okay.
Nebraska.
So Nebraska is its own deal.
Okay. Do you guys by chance know how many Masons you guys have in Nebraska? Roughly?
Oh, where are we at now? I don't remember. They said the Grand Lodge, and I don't remember now.
Yeah, I want to say it's around 12,000. That
12,000?
rings a bell.
Okay.
It's probably way off, but we'll go with that.
No, I think that's about what the Wisconsin guys said themselves too. So that sounds about right.
Nothing on our show is really that accurate anyways. So
Yeah, we're constantly I'm like, should we go back and redact that? And I'm like, nah, fine. It's my opinion. I don't care. So, what made you guys decide to join Masonry? I know we got a father-son duo on there, but what kind of sparked your guys' interest in Masonry? Is it all family type situation or stumble across it?
So I'll speak for Heath and myself because our story kind of goes hand in hand.
Mm.
Mine starts out with my grandfather and my father were both Scottish Rite Masons, but I never really knew that. I knew my dad was a Shriner, but I didn't know what that meant. And then Dave was actually Heath's scoutmaster and kind of started talking to me and spent a few years with me and still decided I was good enough, I guess, to be a Mason. So, so basically I came in as a third generation Master Mason. Heath is now fourth generation, and now we're both 32nd degree Masons.
Wow.
And my grandfather was actually raised in your lodge, and my dad was raised in a lodge in Germany when he was in the Air Force during Vietnam.
Wow. That's actually...
So I was really wrong. In 2021, there was only just under 8,000 Masons in Nebraska.
Okay. So 8,000.
Half of our state is a desert.
That makes sense, though. So you probably have some very big jurisdiction, like very big districts, but then there's just places where there's nothing. It's kind
Yeah.
Most of the population's in the eastern part of the state here. We're out of Omaha, and that's the largest city in the state.
Okay.
Lincoln would be the second largest. They're both in the eastern part of the state. So most of the population's on this side of the state.
Okay.
And they're only 60 miles apart. So
Right.
Right.
Go figure.
Well, I'll continue on as far as getting into Masonry. I'm a pretty relatively new empty nester. Both of our kids went off to college. And so all of the football games and debate and tennis and all that kind of stopped. So I found myself with nothing to do. Was looking for something that I could do where I could get socially active. I could do something with a little bit of philanthropy. Didn't know what that was, but I had a coworker that introduced me to it. Said it sounds like a lot of fun, and I am internally grateful for for him for pointing me this direction.
Me too.
It sounds like you found a good fit.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
And for myself, my grandfather was a master mason. Uh, knew him in lodge when I was probably 10, 12 years old. Um, but my brother-in-law is the one that secured the situation. He was dating my sister. They were off doing stuff all the time, especially on the shrine side. They kept doing stuff all the time, and I finally says, "What is this shrine thing? And what is this Mason thing all about?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "It's about freaking time you asked me."
Hmm.
So that's where it came into play. So um, and been loving it since. So
Nothing wrong with any of that. So it sounds like we got a pretty good mix of how we found masonry. We got a little bit of tie. We got a little bit of kind of stumbled across it. Um, what was it that particularly made you decide to join masonry? I mean, was there something about it that you had heard or something that you saw that made you go, yeah, that's it. This is the one. This is where I need to be.
You want to go reverse order? Start with you,
yeah,
Dave?
I think for me it was more the legacy. I adored my grandfather, and so me being a Mason just tied more into the love I had for him, and that's what really drove in. And seeing what all my brother and sister-in-law were doing, my sister and brother-in-law were doing, just increased it even that much more of having some more fun later on. So yeah, that was for me.
I think from my standpoint, it was more of the history part of it. It was kind of introduced as a historical thing that's been there and it's been behind the scenes. I was really oblivious to Freemasonry. I mean, it's right in front of us, but I never paid any attention. And so to kind of have the curtain opened up and say there's this organization and they've been here for hundreds of years and they're right under your nose and here's a symbol and here's a symbol and I just ate that up. And then to get into the ritual part of it, I think that's one of the things I'm really enjoying that I didn't realize that I would.
Yeah.
I so when I got out of the military, I kind of struggled a lot with trying to find a place to belong. And I did the whole volunteer fire department thing for a few years, and then we moved into Omaha, and there was nothing. My wife didn't want me joining or trying out for this paid city fire department because it was too dangerous. She didn't want me to be a state trooper. Like I wanted something to do. I wanted something to belong to, help out the community, and then I just kind of fell into masonry. And then what intrigues me most about it, I think at the time when I joined, was like the prestige. Like these are men of a high caliber of character, and that really intrigued me.
I think for me at the time of joining, it was kind of wanting to learn the history of it all, and that was really about it. I was kind of wanting to learn the history. I mean, it's evolved a lot from there, but
You didn't even like history class.
I didn't.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Yeah, but real life history, it's so different when you're living the history rather than just reading about it on.
Or getting lectured too about
Yeah.
it. And yeah. No. That's why reenactments are fun.
Oh, jeez. So, and I really liked what you were saying about the bigger picture when it comes to masonry and getting involved in not only the historical aspect, but also the civil aspect of it and doing the community service to it. What does being a Mason in your state? Can you give us a small glimpse of what that's like?
Oh,
It's diverse so badly.
it is. It's really all across the board. We have, and I'm sure with every jurisdiction. I mean, we have the guys that are just in it for the ritual, guys that are completely against ritual. I would say probably us at this table where we all kind of fall right somewhere in the range of in the middle. Um, but there really is, especially in our lodge, there's such a sense of brotherhood. I mean, you do go to some lodges and you hear that maybe there was some bickering at the last meeting or something. Maybe not everybody gets along, but we haven't had that in our lodge in a very very long time. And then so when we go to lodge, we embrace each other. You know, we get to see these guys once a month generally. Matter of fact, when Gabe showed up here at the house tonight, we we always embrace each other anyways because we were friends. But I haven't seen him in over a month. I haven't seen him since his degree and since his grandma got sick. So it was. I mean, yeah, we're gonna
Oh
hug it
yeah,
out. I mean, that's just what we do in our. But yeah, I would say on a general day for a mason, it's I would say for the most part we live masonry on the outside of our sleeve.
that's awesome.
I think it's really tough. I'm assuming it would be the same way there. It's hard to put it in any sort of a pigeonhole. It's what anybody wants to do, and we talk about it on our show all the time. Every lodge you walk into has got a little bit different
Yeah.
flavor. Maybe it's and I could name off different lodges that I've traveled to, and this lodge is really good at ritual, and this lodge, a lot of the brothers are really into the esoteric stuff, or this lodge they're really into the philanthropy, and so it's been really neat as a new Mason to travel and kind of pick up on that and try different things. But as a whole, I think it's really what anybody wants to make of it, and that's the great thing about it is every person has a different interest, so they can find a place to
Absolutely. And
And the lodge is located at, how they can work with the community. I mean, Beehive is in the downtown area, and so we've got minimal community housing and everything around us. So we have to really reach more out to do community stuff. Where the stuff out in western Nebraska, where the lodge is in the town, and the town knows they're there, and they're much more uh, doing philanthropy that way within the community. So
and I guess that would make sense. It seems to be a similar situation.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of in reverse though for us. It seems like a lot of the bigger city people know about our lodges, except for when you start coming into all these small towns. The small towns are like, "Wait, we have a Freemason lodge? Since when? How's that been there?" And I'm like, "Come on upstairs. I'll show you the building." I keys.
Yeah.
It's right across from the biggest restaurant in town. You see it every week. I guarantee it. They just don't see it though. If they even know what it is, and the ones that do know what it is, they're like, "Wait, aren't you guys the ones that hid the treasure?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
We hid that treasure. The carpet's from the 70s, but we have treasure. I promise you." It's hidden in the walls. So, and actually, I just kind of wanted to go back. Jim, you said you've only been a Mason for a few months, right? Almost.
Right. So it's August, and this is April, middle April right now. So
And
yeah,
on
it
here,
hasn't been
have
very
you
long at
figured
all.
out what it is? Because you were talking about, this lodge is really into esoterics, and this lodge is really into ritual. Have you kind of figured out what your I'd say niche would be? Mine is I'm not a ritualist by any means. I can do ritual really, really well. But what I'm really good at is kind of the organizing of things. I'm a taskmaster. I kind of you tell me what you want done and I figure out how it happens.
Sure. So I'm still working on that. I've obviously been in other organizations. I've been in officer lines, doing things like that. Right now, I'm just having fun. The ritual part of it, I'm enjoying, and I've always had kind of a pretty decent memory. So, one of the exciting things is this coming Monday, a really good friend at my lodge is going to go through his fellowcraft, and I'm going to deliver the staircase. I'm actually the senior deacon, and I'm going to do the staircase. I've been working on
Good
that
job.
since Christmas, so that's kind of an exciting thing. I'm happy that I can do that for somebody else, and I'm trying to do as much of this as that I can, because I know at some point I'm not going to have the memory that I've had in the past. So I've kind of been pushing towards that and really pushing myself to get that down. So I do enjoy that part of it. But honestly, you hear it time and time again. Most people say they love the brotherhood,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about. I enjoy being in every part of this. I enjoy hearing about the esoteric. I enjoy all the rest of it. But really, more than anything, I enjoy what we're doing right now, and that's just hanging out and kind of learning a little bit about each other.
I agree. I just figured I would ask because you're coming on a year here pretty soon. Usually about then, that's when guys are kind of getting that feeling of, well, I might be an officer, or I might do this, or you're just like, I'm just here. We got a lot of those here in our lodge. Just here. If I call them, they're here for anything that
Yeah.
we need, but do not ask them to sit in an officer's chair. They would rather have teeth pulled.
Oh no, no, they've already got me. They got me senior deacon, and they're already talking to me. As Joe keeps telling me, I've got to learn that no word. I still
Yep.
haven't learned that quite yet, but I stay extremely busy. We actually joined the Scottish Rite together. We were in the same class, and that's kind of how we met each other. It was related to the show. We were Facebook friends because I was a fan of the show, but that's how we met, was the Scottish Rite. And so in the Scottish Rite, I jumped into the Knights of St. Andrew, which is their service wing. So this Sunday, for example, I'm going to be a greeter at the door. It's just one of those things that I enjoy doing. So yeah, I've kind of jumped in with both feet, but as Joe says, at some point I need to
Yeah,
learn how to say no.
it's kind of a big. I had a hard time when I first joined as well. I was in Scottish Rite for a hot minute, and then everybody's trying to get you into the grotto, and then they try to get you into the shrine, and then they try, and it finally got to a point where I went, guys, I only have so much time. I only have so much
Yeah.
disposable income for dues. Like, I think I was spending close to $1,000 a year in dues. It was insane. So I was like, I was like, I got a
married right
mortgage,
now.
guys. We got to tone this back just a little bit. So now I just do.
By the way, on that subject, congratulations. I
Oh,
know I've
thank
texted
you.
you congratulations, but
Thank you. I really
congratulations on
appreciate it.
engagement.
It's that's part of it too, going through it now, is all the wedding planning.
Oh, and Ryan,
Yeah.
congrats
Oh, it's gonna
on the wedding.
Luckily, she ain't learned the word no.
Yeah, she's over here. I kept joking. We've been together for 10 years at
I
that
was gonna
point.
say it's close to a decade now.
A long time. So I was just joking that had she said no, I was just gonna walk off into the ocean and not come back. Like, how do you spend the rest of a vacation with someone that just
Yeah,
told you?
you did like the first 2 days
I
that you were
did.
there.
It
And
was
you guys were there for a week.
Yeah, it would have been really awkward. I'm just going. So
Just every day, eat it until she says yes. Just okay, let's go back to this beach. We'll try again.
So just to get us back on it.
Yeah.
So our current topic, our current spiel, and I know I haven't announced it quite yet on the show yet. So you guys will be our first person that we've asked. Our topic is what does it mean to be a traveling man? So what do you think it means to be traveling men of Masonry?
Who wants to go first?
I can start it off. For me, it's the opportunity to visit other lodges with either in the state. I have not got the opportunity to do any out of state yet, and then just to have that connection with the brothers in that lodge that you're visiting, and get to know them, uh, get to know that community or that other city that you're happy being at. Um, it's fun to. I've been to a small lodge in Nebraska that's about an hour and a half away, David City, real small lodge, Old Town Lodge, and the different flair and the different guys that were there. Just fun to meet new people and new experiences and the experience the brothers and experience the community is what I kind of think is the traveling part of it. And then traveling as a man and growing and bettering myself. So
Yeah, I obviously I'm enjoying the traveling part as far as The thought that a traveling man would be somebody that visits other lodges, and visiting Beehive, the lodge that these other three guys are in, was an experience in seeing that close brotherhood and learning a little bit more about not just myself but my lodge. When you can travel to these other places, you can see how things are different. You can see what is really great about your own lodge, but you can also see the things that you need to work on. And from a philosophical standpoint, a traveling man, traveling, dealing with my own personal journey. In this short year already, it's amazing the ideals of masonry that I find myself, listening to different working tools, and I do catch myself saying, I need to work on this. I catch myself talking about time management. That's one of the principles that's taught in the first degree, and so I find myself thinking about that all the time. How can I better myself? Thinking of the rough and perfect ashlers. Those are things that are just in the back of my mind all the time. And I as a traveling man, being reminded of that all the time is one of the things that I love. You recently were talking about. Your question was about, does masonry make us a better man? And in my mind, when I heard that question you guys asked it the first time, I was picturing it's kind of like an instruction manual for a piece of heavy machinery. If I had a skid loader or something, uh, that instruction manual tells me exactly how to do it. But that doesn't mean I can do it. It doesn't mean that I will do it, and it doesn't mean that I'll do it well. So it's up to me to spend the time digging into that manual, trying to take bits and pieces out of it and improve it and learn how to use that to do whatever my purpose is, and to do it well. So that's kind of, I would take the same idea with the traveling man. It's my job as a traveling man to take that instruction manual and learn as I'm traveling across the Masonic uh, planes, it getting from where I'm at to where I want to be.
Are you done now?
I,
Oh my God.
One thing,
Sorry, this is
Jim,
how it
one
goes on
thing
our show.
you should learn about divvying up your time is two-letter word, starts with an N, ends with an O.
no, no.
Don't worry.
I can't do
He
it.
just can't get it all the way out.
I haven't heard it in 27 years.
It's very hard when anybody in this lodge comes up, hey, can we start doing this? Or, hey, can we improve on this? At first, I'm like, I'm a little bit busy. And then an hour later, I'll come back and be like, okay, so this is what I'm kind of thinking. So this is what we got to do. This is what we got to purchase. These are the people we need. And they're like, well, you said no. And I was like, yeah, screw that. We're doing this.
Well, I think it would be a lot easier if the question wasn't asked in a way of, hey, I got
Yes.
this great idea and I think it'll be a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Yes, exactly.
That's where the problem comes.
Yep.
Yes. What does it
What was the
mean to
question
be a
again?
traveling man?
Traveling?
Yes.
Traveling man.
God, I love you, Joe.
It's a good thing too. I think with traveling, the easy answer is getting to meet other brothers and building bonds and making new friends. I like what you said about finding not really what your lodge is doing wrong, but what you can improve on in your own lodge. But also, like, so when I became a Mason, I went home from lodge feeling better about myself. Like, these men made me feel better about myself, right? And so I think getting a whole different aspect of that from a different group of guys, and it's not like a ego rub or anything, but it's like you want to be around people that make you feel good, and you want to make your brothers feel good about themselves. So it just kind of one hand washes the other, and I think that's the fun for me of visiting lodge, because I didn't do a lot of visiting, but recently we have, mostly with the show, really. But I haven't met a bad brother yet. So
Yeah, I think for me, it's kind of along the same lines as you, but it's kind of where like we can we can go anywhere to any Masonic lodge in the world, and any Mason can come to our lodge, and it's like we've known them forever, and we can get along with them just fine. And the brotherhood's there, no matter who they are, where they're from, doesn't matter.
Yeah, when was that? When will that show air? Just last weekend, we took a trip and visited a lodge in Kansas City. And with brothers we've never met before, I talked to one of them on Facebook, and we actually had to cut the episode a little bit short. We kind of had to rush it because we were just sitting there talking to these guys like we've known them for 20 years. I mean, it was amazing.
Well, I actually really like all of those answers because I think you've given us a good point where we can start from on this question. Because I myself, I don't travel very much. I like traveling to other lodges, but a lot of the reasons to travel to another lodge I'm not always down for because I don't have the free time for it. So a lot of times if one of them is like, hey, we're gonna go,
I'm right with
2 towns over and go for a Master Mason degree tonight for, so and so called us, they need help, I'm in. I'm not coming to an inspection where I'm not leaving until 11:30 at night. I don't have time for it. I just don't. I can't sit there and listen to everybody be introduced. I'm like, we know who you all are. Go sit down. Let's do this. So,
and I think that's kind of why we liked going to Bowling Green so
Yeah.
much, is because when we went there, we were both coming off from work. We had to drive way out of our way going home and stuff. And I could tell both of us were like, okay, let's just get this meeting over with and go home. And then they started joking. And then they're like, okay, let's open the lodge. And they opened the lodge, and it wasn't, okay, this is so-and-so, and he's been worshipful master, blah, blah, blah. They acknowledged it, but then they're like, okay, let's get into the brass tacks. Like, let's actually have some fun.
It also helped that they kind of involved us and were like, hey, we need a senior deacon.
Yeah.
We need a senior steward. Come on down. And I'm like, so Ryan gets to sit here and relax and I have to do stuff? Okay.
They're like, do one of you guys mind? And I went, that's a nice chair up there. Bye.
So I feel like we've gotten to know each of you and each of your journeys in Masonry and some of your thoughts on Masonry. Now we'd like to kind of get into your podcast. And with that, I'm going to let Ryan take the main chair here. And he's got some really good questions he came up for you guys. So don't mind us. We're going to Chinese fire drill real quick.
Only have like 50 questions for you guys. Nothing too hard. The very first one is social security number. Need it from everyone. And then place of birth. No. It's some questions that I was actually asking Sam the other day before we were recording one of our episodes. And he kind of just was like, these are some really great questions. We should do an episode on this. And we ended up recording it, but it was like, we'll wait to release it. So, but let me ask you guys now, what made you guys join together to make a Masonic podcast out of everything in the world, instead of just being like, you know what, we're just going to get together once a month, have a party, talk some shit, and go home? You guys decide, hey, I'm actually going to record it.
All right. Well, Heath and I would sit in the backyard by the fire and enjoy some libations. And we would do the whole Gone in 60 Seconds things where we would hear, we have a fairly busy highway pretty close to our house, and there's always cars racing down the road, and we would play guess what engine that was, And Dave would always come over, especially when I had a rough day and needed somebody to just listen to or just sit there with me in silence. Whatever I needed, Dave was there for it. But more often than not, the talk turned Masonic. And pretty much everybody that came over that wasn't a Mason, that's what they heard about was Masonry. Mm-hmm. And so we had enough years of sitting by the fire and talking about Masonry. And I looked at Heath and I was like, we could do a podcast. And I think you kind of laughed at me.
I think I did.
Because it's not my personality at all.
Not at all.
No.
I'm a behind the scenes. I don't go to concerts. I don't like if I go to a restaurant, I'm sitting in the corner watching the doors. Like everybody in the room is a threat. I'll be nice and cordial, but I have a plan to kill everyone in the room. Okay.
Welcome to the Marine.
Yeah. But it's
Mhm.
my gosh, it's so much fun. But so, anyways, he had a very nice camera because he does photography on the side, and so we actually use a mirrorless digital camera when we do our video show, which is available on YouTube and Spotify. Um, and then we just kind of started adding more equipment, better microphones. We've got another new breed of microphones that are coming in probably in a couple weeks. So then we can look like fools
Yeah.
while we figure that out.
And Joe asked me to join him and Heath initially, and this is what we want to do. And I said, this kind of sounds like fun. Like I said, we've been doing it around the campfire anyway. I thought, let's do it. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. And there has been a couple of very short-lived podcasts in Nebraska, masonry related, but I don't think there's currently any.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong
You guys
about that.
are-
I just don't know of any. And then Jim, like he said earlier, we met at our Scottish Rite reunion, and I knew him by face from Facebook because he's been a fan of the show since the beginning.
Well, right out of the gate, as a new Mason, that thirst for knowledge, I started checking out podcasts, and honestly, you guys were probably the second one and my favorite when it started.
Yep.
So I listened all the time to you guys. Then I found out that there was a local one. There's a Nebraska one, so I started listening to them. We became friends on Facebook, and I kind of worked my way in here. So my whole role here is a fan that just has never left. I got invited to do an interview and just never left. So
Well, and actually, your first time here, you were supposed to be in the peanut gallery hanging out because a friend of yours was a guest,
right.
and then we had some ice come in, and he couldn't make it, but you were here, so we put you in front of the camera.
And now it's coming full circle. I get to be a fan on your show too. So
Yeah.
this is working out great.
And it is. I actually really appreciate. I don't know if this is one of the questions coming up or not, but I really appreciate that. There's a few of our shows that are relatively the same age as far as when we started. And Sam, you and I, we bounce ideas off each other all the time, and we go in spurts, but there's times like we probably message for
I'm just
put
at work.
together
going,
probably
yeah,
an hour
absolutely.
and a half the other night.
Cool.
It's a
Well, and it helps that we're all helping each other.
yeah, it's a
You
great
know what I mean?
community.
We're all in this together. We're all doing this for the same reason.
Yeah.
We just have different shows.
Right. We're not competing for likes or shares or
None of
comments
that,
or any
brother.
of that shit.
Yep.
We're all spreading light, and
So-
there's no wrong way to do it.
Moving right along, the second question, though more difficult. What's your 2 or 5, 10, 20-year goal out of this podcast? Where do you see yourself the pick of the year, and that's where you guys are aiming for?
I'll be dead by then, so it's all yours now.
I don't know. I'd say we like to definitely travel more. We have started to travel some. That's a lot of fun, but I'd say travel more, maybe travel farther, maybe if we can. Get some bigger names. Still stay with some local names as long as we can. That's always fun, getting to know people that are around here.
Yeah, I think some of the fear is
Yep.
eventually you're going to run out of local Masons that are willing to be on camera.
Yep.
And it's a whole different deal doing video because I don't want to be on camera. Yeah, are you kidding me? Nobody watches the damn show anyways. But there's like 7 people.
Right.
And we're 4 of them. So.
Yeah.
So any things coming down?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you? That's it, huh? All right.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you. You've spoken more words tonight than you have on all of the previous shows put together.
I hear Joe and Heath talk about it all the time. They wanted to get into this to spread light. And as long as that's what's happening, and as long as people are being introduced to masonry, that's the whole goal. Whether it's today, tomorrow, 10 years, as long as that's happening, I think these guys are in the long haul for that. They don't want to. We really don't want to get far from the roots, the whole idea behind it. So,
yeah, to quote a close friend of both of ours, right worshipful Jim Hall, is just be loud with masonry. You know, I love that he says that, because it's nothing hits harder than that. Just
I really
be
like
loud, be
that,
out in front of
because
everybody.
everyone at work knows that I'm a Mason, and everyone in my family knows that I'm a Mason. It's something that is great. I'm glad that Right Worshipful Brother Jim Hall does that so well. I'm glad that you guys do it in your state, doing great out there, and promoting the light, as you guys have been saying.
You have to.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've slowly started learning. Like, one of my friends he's still one of my friends, but at my last job for one of my birthdays, he got me a black tumbler with a Masonic square and compass on it and my name on it. And I was always like, oh, I'm not going to take that anywhere. I'm just going to have it at home. I don't want to offend anyone or get people upset. That's become my work tumbler. Like, at work, I have it. Meetings, it's right there. I don't have it here because I'm always afraid I'm going to lose it if I take it more than one place. But like, if this was a work call, it would be right here with the logo facing you. I would have my all black Masonic hat, my ring on, and it just been like, you know what? No, this is who I am. I'm proud of it. And Masons are doing the world good. We're actually improving it, or at least attempting to, as much as we can. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to be proud of it, and I'm going to be loud. So,
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And hiding treasures and
taking
walls
over the
and
world with pancake
carpet
breakfast.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
On a funny note, though, I do want to point this out there. If anybody's noticing, we do have some copies of our Grand Lodge communication books. I will be hiding something at some point in one of those books. So there will be treasure hidden in this lodge. It'll be when I'm old and I'm ready to go. Like, hey, I left the lodge money, but you got to find it. And it'll be in the last
It's got to be somewhere.
They'll find it in the last place.
Somebody should call the
it'll be
History
like
Channel.
100 years after you've passed away, and they're like, hey, we should probably move these books. Holy shit, $1 million just fell out of this. Where did this come from? So, but okay, well, kind of moving along. This one's kind of an interesting one because it really kind of makes you think. But if you could go back and change anything about your startup or your journey so far through this podcast, would you change anything? What would it be and why?
I would 100% delete the very first teaser episode off of Spotify.
Oh.
Yeah. It was like we wrote a script and read it. And I think you said 2 words, and it was awful.
Yeah, it was like monotone. And
honestly, I think my biggest regret is we didn't practice first. Our first 4 or 5 episodes were supposed to be practice with our friends, and we forgot that it was supposed to be practice, and we just released them. But we had this weird feedback from the camera, and it was due to a power cable in close proximity. It was a mess. The audio is really horrible. It's gotten much better now, but there again, we started on a shoestring budget, with a $15 Walmart microphone. And the one we're using tonight isn't definitely not $15, but the ones that are coming are really, really not $15. But yeah, it's just the toys get more expensive and things get better. So I would say the only thing I would change was do more research and start better.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of where we kind of started. I mean, if you go back and listen to one of our very first episodes, you can hear the audio quality. We can't go back and listen to it. We cringe and we're like, how are we this far? How did we keep going? And the same kind of thing. And I remember Sam was like, yeah, I just bought this on Amazon. I think it's like $10, $15. It'll be fine. It'll be a great mic. And it was just like, no, we're getting rid of that and getting the mics that we have now and stuff. And then one, and then we're like, you know what, 2 would be better. Bought a second one, and then we go, you know what's better than 2?
4.
3. Yeah, we're slowly getting to that 4th one and stuff. So we kind of had.
Oh,
Well, I've
thank
listened
Thank
to
you.
all of your episodes at
We
least
need
once,
that.
and some of them twice, and they're not as bad as you think.
No.
I'd actually I'd take this the other way. I wasn't there for the beginning, so I didn't get to see those bumps. But it's kind of ironic today. So I work in the tech industry. I won't say that I'm a programmer, but I'm starting to learn some programming language. And we were talking about stuff we've done 3 or 4 years ago, and kind of re-examining it and seeing how horrible it was in the beginning. But I wouldn't trade any part of my professional uh, any of that because I learned through every bit of it. It's not that easy to read a book and learn and take that lesson lifelong as it is if you make the mistakes. And so I'd say for both podcasts, the mistakes are what makes it today. I think if you didn't make those mistakes, you'd be making different mistakes, and so you can't look at those as mistakes. They're actually
That's true.
Yeah.
ways to get
Absolutely
better.
right.
You
Tell
can't
you what,
learn.
we definitely
without
could have made some
failure.
bigger mistakes.
We could have.
We definitely could have.
We could have tried growing way too fast, way too big. But we definitely scaled it down and was like, you know what, let's crawl before we run.
Well, and like you guys said, you kind of have to. You got to do it for you. You know, you can't do it. You can't do what if you watch. I watch a lot of and I read a lot of stuff about podcasting, obviously, and a lot of the stuff that they talk about, I'm like, I'm not going to do that. That is like the Mickey thing. That's like, put out a top 5 list of things that if they don't find it, if they don't listen to their show, they're going to have fear of missing out. I'm like, what's amazing going to have fear of missing out? 5 things your secretary wishes you knew. Don't touch my head. Like, what am I going to do? Like, no, you got to do. And I think that's why our shows have taken off so well is because we're organic. We're not trying to be something we're not.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean we're genuine. Heath and I are mechanics. Jim is a software guy for a transportation company. Dave is also in transportation of the dairy sort. We're regular blue collar guys. We're foul mouthed. We have drinks
and
on our show.
I really like how you guys started
we're real
just
people.
kind of shooting the shit around a campfire, like hearing that, and I'm like, God, I wish we kind of started doing that first. Like, yeah, we talk the shit at parties and just like, oh, did you hear about so and so at Lodge? Like, can't believe he messed up this line. So, but we never really deep dived into it, and like we've definitely learned from our mistakes and stuff. But it's like, God, I wish we would have took like a month or two, like what you guys did, and just shot the shit and was like, okay, this is where we actually want to go and stuff. So I applaud you guys for kind of shooting the shit, getting that brotherhood, getting that meeting, getting that ball rolling and stuff.
Yeah, I guess the other thing is our hosts have been fairly inconsistent. Like Dave's busy. Dave's in the divan at the shrine. So, well, yeah, it is divan.
Yes.
Divan adjacent.
I'm a trustee.
Anyway, he's busy, right? So Dave's not able to make it for every show. Jim's not able to make it for every show. You have been so
I live
far.
here, so.
But we do have an episode coming up soon where Heath will not be there.
Jason's been in and out.
Jason's been in and out. Sometimes, like tonight, he's working late.
Right.
So we have 5 or 6 guys. It's mainly Heath and I, and the rest of them float in and out. Jim's been here pretty consistently, but everybody has lives. And that's part of being. This isn't our life. It's kind of my life because I don't really have one. The kid is grown, right? You take care of yourself for the most part.
I know that feeling.
So now this show is my baby.
None.
Nope.
0.
Nope. You just hit record, you're done, and post. And then
It's no
repeat.
work at all, right?
You don't have to edit it or get any topics on. So,
So I do
Yep.
have a question,
Oh,
podcast wise. What anything interesting coming up in the near future?
Yeah.
that you'd be willing
That
to
you're
share.
willing to share anything exciting?
Yes,
Sure.
yeah, there's a couple things I'll share with you when we're not recording. But May 17th, we will be going live on our YouTube channel. We are going back to our roots. We're going to have probably just a webcam and some lights, but we're going to go live by the campfire where it all started. And we're going to have some future guests, some past guests. I think most of our hosts are going to be there, and we're going to go to where we started. We're going to sit by the fire and talk masonry. We're going to have a couple of guest stars call in.
Anybody good?
No,
Okay. Okay.
no. Well, that'll be a surprise.
Okay.
They'll have to watch or listen to that.
Okay.
But we are going to open up a Q&A session in that, so anybody who's watching can get on their phone or their computer and type up a question, and as long as it's relevant and doesn't get us
Canceled.
we'll answer it. But yeah, that's something that
Hey,
I'm pretty excited
You got to
about.
try new things.
I'm not even
Yep.
sure it's going to work out yet, but we're going to make it happen.
You give it a shot, right?
Yeah. Right. The thing is, we're not even 100% sure we can go live with our YouTube channel yet, but we're going to.
There you go.
And if we can't, we'll do
Damn
I
it,
don't
we'll
know.
do it live.
Facebook Live or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
So, last question for you, and then I'll kind of turn the mic over
One way
to
or another.
Gabe so he can kind of talk his weird questions.
Oh,
Love you, Gabe. What's one moment each of you have experienced, either through the podcast, before the podcast, wherever, that is really remarkable for you, that really stands out for you?
Ooh, I might have to think about this for a minute.
I'll start that one off because I can tell you what it is right now, which I revealed to you guys.
Mhm.
I think on was it number one or number
I
two?
think it was our second show.
Second show. While at the altar, at my Master Mason degree, I felt the presence of my grandfather who had passed already. I felt his presence and felt his hand on my shoulder while I'm taking my obligation at the altar. And it brings me to tears now still.
Yeah.
It was such a pivotal moment for me as a Mason, as a man. Because, like I said, I adored my grandfather. He was a great man. So to have that happen to me, and then at the end of the evening, able to address the rest of the brothers in the room, in the lodge, and express my gratitude to them for letting me have that moment. So that's my pivotal moment for me as a Mason.
Yeah, I think something that sticks out to me is more with the podcast is when we interviewed Jeremy Martin.
Yeah.
And just hearing all the stories that he had on and off camera. It just kind of sticks with me.
Yeah, I would maybe for me, there's a lot. There's a lot, even just since we started the podcast. I mean, just some of the great friends that we've met. But really building a really close bond with worshipful brother Eric Bensala, he's now our grand custodian, which is kind of like your inspector at the Grand Lodge level. So he's in charge of all of the ritual for every lodge in Nebraska, or for the Grand Lodge. But getting a really close bond with him is pretty special.
So far, my favorite on the podcast. We've got an upcoming episode that we did in Brownville. So that was our first opportunity to travel, and that is a historic lodge. It was one of the first ones in the state of Nebraska. But I would implore people to listen to it because it was great to be in a historic building. But we were also talking to somebody who had a family that went back to the Underground Railroad. And so his roots in masonry, the stuff that they had, written down in the books, we could actually touch history. We could look at the notes that went back to the 1850s. That moment was just so neat to be able to put history into masonry and to see it up close.
Well, that's pretty much all the questions I had.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this
I
Chinese
agree.
fire drill again, and Gabe's going to be in the center seat. So yep, while we trip over ourselves. Ow.
I don't know.
I wasn't expecting.
I don't know.
Hey guys, how's it going? So, I guess it's good to finally meet you guys. I'm sorry that I missed the last
Hey.
interview that we had, but I try to keep up with you guys on Facebook and on listening to your stuff when I can, and seeing your stuff on TikTok when I can. So, I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that we get to finally sit down and have a nice dialogue, a nice back and forth. So, but no, so
We need to put
I
more
like
on TikTok,
to
by the
tie
way.
the interviews up together, ask a lot of the kind of finalizing, thought-provoking questions, maybe not quite esoteric questions, but questions that are designed to get you to think and leave some positive stuff at the end of the interview. So I guess the first question that I'm going to ask is if you could change one thing about our fraternity, and I don't necessarily mean in the idea of ritual or dogma, what's one thing that you could change about the fraternity if you could?
Yes.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Politics.
Yeah.
It seems like no matter where you go, somebody's got to make it into a political situation, and there should be no room for that in masonry. There should be no hidden agendas.
I'd have to agree with that.
And you know, let's be honest, there are. I mean, people have their own way they want it done, and they're, you know, generally unwilling to bend on that. So that's definitely something I would change. Wow, that was a really honest answer.
That was
I
really
still
honest.
can't believe I
opinions
said
of the
that to
host
our
and guests are their
grandmaster
own.
to his face. I don't know why I did that. I was like, "Oh, did I just say that out loud?" Okay, but but I mean, like, okay, well, I guess I really enjoy
none were
being
more
a
shocked
Mason.
than I.
Yep.
All right,
just
here, I'll
just
just rip
take
it up
it.
for you on camera.
Yep, you can cut my
I'll
my
just hand
dues
you my
card
dues
up,
card now.
Grandmaster. So
I think for me, the one thing that we would love to change is somehow that we are more out there, that we're more visible, that we're more in their face. I don't know. Just that I think there's too many people that don't know enough about us, that if they knew a little bit more, saw us a little bit more, I
I
think
like that.
we could improve this fraternity so much more.
I guess mine's similar, but not quite the same. The idea of recruiting. I understand why the past has been that we don't go straight out and recruit, and I think that kind of dilutes what we've got. But in token with what Dave said, it's really hard to be quiet sometimes about
Which I
certain
love.
things. Which, when you love something as much as you do, I just want to shake everybody and say, "You got to come in. You got to join. You got to." So that would be something. I don't know that necessarily that I would say
Makes
we need to
sense.
change.
Yeah.
Are
but
you guys
it was something
allowed?
that I think I struggle with all the time.
So in Ohio, they changed the law, the bylaw. I don't know what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We're allowed to say, "I think you make a great mason," but I can't ask you to become a mason, and it's a very gray line, and a lot of people don't know it. What's the feeling like where you guys are at? Is it still kind of on the hush hush, like they have to ask, or is it?
No, it is. It's we can basically kind of do some recruiting. So I think if we run across a man that we think fits the fraternity, that's a good man to start with, um, we're allowed to. Hey, this
Okay.
is what I do. This is what the fraternity does. I think he'd be a good fit for us. Go out there and check what's going
Not
on out
tonight.
there for Freemasonry. No, we're not doing any sacrifices and so forth, but
Speak for yourself.
well, I have been to your lodge. Okay. So we're able to, I guess, kind of recruit in that way. So
Yeah, I think so we have friendship dinners. I don't think did they change the name of that
they're
this
trying
year?
to do. They haven't come up with a good name yet.
So basically, it's if you know somebody that is either in Blue Lodge only, or if they're not in the Masonic community at all, you can have them come in. They change it around. Sometimes it's at the Shrine Temple, sometimes it's at our Scottish Rite Valley in Omaha, but they'll provide a dinner. Um, so a Mason or really anybody
Yeah.
they can just come down, but so non Masons can come in. They'll learn what Blue Lodge is all about, kind of what that means. They'll hear from some appended bodies. So it really is like, if you know what avenue to point somebody down, we're a lot more out in the open than people think we are. We're just kind
Well,
of
I'm glad
we're
that
out in the open in the dark at this point.
you
Like we,
guys
we need
know
to
what type
start
of person to
shedding
look
some light
for.
on
I'm
the
glad that
subject.
you guys are really actively searching the community for guys who are upstanding citizens and upstanding gentlemen and upstanding people to be around that would be good members for your lodge. So that brings me into another question, kind of in the same realm of that, of how do you take the lessons that masonry teaches to incorporate it into your daily life while you're out within your community, and also how do you incorporate it into how you conduct business with the podcast? Like how do you project the teachings that masonry tells you with your podcast out opening the ritual and starting to read it on the airwaves? It is kind of, sorry, it's kind of a multi-part question there, a two-part question, but
Ooh. So masonry, yeah. So masonry in daily life while I'm driving with these idiot Omaha drivers, not at all. There is no
wow.
masonry that happens while I'm driving. Um,
Omaha's ranked number one in the nation for the worst drivers. So
yeah, they're bad.
That multiple years in a row.
yes.
Um, with the podcast, I would say, I'll back up. So in daily life, it really is more or less kind of what your grandma told you, right? Treat people how you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but with the podcast, it really is different because now it's not just people that see the square and compass on the truck or see you wear the T-shirt when you're at the grocery store or something. Now we've got listeners all over the world. We've got people that watch all over the world. So now it's a little heavier than just popping off at the mouth, when some Karen gets snotty with the grocery cart or something. Which that's never happened at all. I don't know
Well,
what.
I'll give a real world example. I was at a how do I say this? A large retailer that's known worldwide. But I was making a purchase. I was standing in line. I was the second one in line. And I waited patiently and I waited patiently. And 15 minutes into it, I started getting, kind of a little irritated. 30 minutes into it, the only things that I could think in the back of my mind is subdue your passion, subdue your passion, subdue your passion. And then at that point, I realized I had actually had podcast stuff on. So it's one of those things that before masonry, 30 minutes into it, I probably would have done something inappropriate. But masonry is the idea again is giving me the tools to, hey, take a deep breath, think this through. And as Joe said, I don't really think of ourselves as a face any more important than anybody else. It's just we're Masons, and whether I'm on the podcast or not, I need to
absolutely.
If I'm gonna be proud of what we are, and if I'm gonna wear the
that's a
square
great
compass,
explanation there.
I need to resemble what it means.
Yep. I can see that Heath is a man of many words.
Yep.
Yep. Ditto.
What that guy said.
Very much why, if you haven't noticed
he's
during the
kind of like
podcast,
Brother
I
Ryan
keep
there. He'd rather be
leaning
behind the
away.
camera most of the time. But sometimes we force him to be up here.
So, on to the next question. A couple more lighthearted questions to tie the interview up. Do you guys have Masonic idols or heroes? And these can be contemporary historical figures or personal figures. And do you guys have a hero of the podcast too? Someone you really liked having on, or someone you really want to have on in the future?
Anybody else? You almost spoke.
I think
Go for it.
I think for me, like Masonically, I don't really have. I mean, really for both, I don't really have. I mean, I look up to people, but like I don't really like. Not really like a hero. Like I don't want to like be like, and not be like them, but kind of get what I'm saying. But
yeah, it's clear as mud, brother.
You don't want to be exactly like them, but you
like I don't want to like completely.
You want to
follow
help
their
them.
steps,
You want to
what I
use
do,
them to
follow
kind of
my own
help you
path.
figure your compass out a little bit.
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. That was a good way to put that.
Look, your mom told you that you're special. And gosh
Yeah.
darn it, you are special.
I am special.
And gosh darn it, people like you.
This is going to have quite the expletive.
I have probably two Masonic heroes. Would be Eric Bentala and then Micah Evans. No relation, but he's a 33rd degree Mason that works at our local Scottish Rite Valley here in Omaha, and him and Eric Bentala have both been great helps to our show, both with knowledge, donations, some equipment here and there.
That's good.
Helping us out with guests when we couldn't find a guest, but before people started asking us if they could come on the show. So, what about you guys?
It's hard to narrow down to one person. There's so many people that I love to hear stories from. If historically, I would we just went down and visited a bunch of Harry Truman's with his lodge and his museum, presidential museum, his house. Obviously, he's gone, but I would love to have had him as a guest and just hear some of the ways he applied. I mean, talk about a guy that made some of the hardest decisions we know. That
has to be really difficult
how do you apply Masonic
when you're in
principles to
shoes
those
like
kind of scenarios?
Most Worshipful Brother Truman.
I would love to hear
it's
some of those
probably difficult when you're in his station and position to bring the teaching into some of the decisions you have to make.
Yeah.
Well, and it was such a quick transition. That was one of the things I took
Mhm.
away from his museum this last time. He was only vice president for 82 days. He'd had no idea that he was going to be in the presidency. 82 days, 20 years. He was pushing 40. He was finding himself behind a mule in a field. 20 years later, he is in the highest office in the country. It was that fast of a transition, and so I'm sure masonry helped
Absolutely.
him in
And
that
Brother Dave?
path, but I would love to hear some of his thoughts on how that all went about.
For me, yeah, for me, two gentlemen that have passed in the lodge that knew their stuff when it came to ritual, Frank Schultz and Nolan McIntosh. Uh, both of those guys impressed me tremendously when it came to ritual. And looking back at it years back, Frank Schultz was my grandfather's mentor when my grandfather was coming up through the lodge. And so building that relationship as a kid, seeing them, and then him doing my middle chamber was phenomenal. And
Well, I
just
like it.
those
And
two guys just
I think
impressed me
that's
so much. And
a
they
great
were
variety of
heroes to me that I wish
answers
I could
and a
be
great
that good at ritual.
a nice plethora of opinions there, and some nice ways to think about it and how it impacts our views of the fraternity and our views of others who came before us in the fraternity, and I really appreciate that. So, brothers, we have come to the end of the interview, and I would like to finish up with a question I do like ending on, is if you were to encounter a young man who's just made it to age to petition lodge, or a brand new master mason, and you're encountering these guys 50, 80, or even 100 years from now, what would you tell those future young men or those future masons? What advice would you want to impart on the masons of the future?
I want to go first.
Okay.
As far as new masons, no matter if your median age of your lodge is your age or if it's
That's a great
85
one.
years old, never be afraid to tell your lodge what you need out of it. That's simple.
Yeah.
You might not know what that is, but you gotta have communication. It has to be open.
Yeah, I think don't be afraid to jump in, but
He's
also
like, I'm
don't
not
be
going to
afraid to
talk
say
if you
no
keep hounding me,
at the same
man.
time.
You're making a lot of sense tonight.
Well, like,
no, yeah,
like jump in and do stuff, but don't be.
yeah. I'm his dad. That's what I'm here for.
I'd say that it's kind of cliche that you get out of it what you put into it, but that is 100% true.
Yeah.
And it's not just masonry in general. I would say specifically the brotherhood. I would say that make sure that if you're going to jump into anything, you jump into forming those bonds of friendship with the guys in your lodge, because these are going to be guys that you're probably going to spend the rest of your life with. Or you said they'll pass on, and
Absolutely.
there'll be more that come in, but you're going to make lifelong friends, and that friendship, that brotherhood, is what masonry is all about.
I'm going to tell that young man, that young new mason, have fun. It is a lifelong journey. You're not going to learn all the secrets in that first 5 years. And we're not going to learn all the secrets when we lay down our tools.
I don't think.
So enjoy the journey, experience all you can.
Well,
and
brothers,
have
I
fun
think
while you're
those
doing it.
are very poignant, very
And in doing that, you realize the
intelligent,
secrets aren't
very
really secret.
awesome answers to end on.
Yeah, of course. Well, for all of our craftsmen out there who are listening, this is another podcast that you should 100% add to your rotation. And we will 100% be working with again. Brothers, can you tell them where they can find your content at?
Okay, we are on our video version is available on YouTube and Spotify. We release every 2 weeks on a Sunday night, sometime usually between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock at night. And then we are on audio only versions just about everywhere else. I mean, we're on Amazon, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, you name it.
Yeah, just about everywhere.
We do have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, we have a TikTok.
You just got to put out as many feelers as you can everywhere.
That's enough. Because I can't remember. Oh, did I put that on Facebook? Did I put it on TikTok? I don't know. Craftsmen, keep your working tools in order and always be on the level.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect those of the Grand Lodge of Ohio, its officers, or any of its jurisdictions. They only reflect those of the hosts or guests.